Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode or a YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about how to actually live a life of fulfillment. And I'm talking fulfillment from the inside out, baby. It's not the dollar in your bank account. It's not the place you live. It's not the fancy clothes, the cars that you drive, the designer handbags that you have. It's not all of those outside material things. I'm talking fulfillment from the inside out, because that is the greatest way to actually achieve true fulfillment and happiness in life, is to start being grateful for the things that you have in your life currently, rather than focusing on things that you lack or focusing on material possessions, because at the end of the day, things don't last, but our bodies and our minds and ourselves are the things that we should be taking care of until the very end, because we are the only person who is going to be with us for the rest of time. So today I want to talk about 3 things that bring true fulfillment to your life, and 3 things that have brought true fulfillment to my life already that I thought would be a great thing to share today. So getting straight into it, we're going to get straight to the point today. So number 1 is building a relationship with yourself based on self-trust and based on self-love. And this is so important, because if you don't have a relationship with yourself, how do you expect to feel truly fulfilled? Like, having a relationship with yourself is something that a lot of people skip over and then wonder why they don't have a purpose or why they don't feel truly happy. And building a relationship with yourself can feel quite daunting and can feel a bit like, well, how do you do that? How do you build a relationship with yourself? Like, isn't that just cringe? Like, a lot of people, if they're not on this journey or they don't understand this work, then they can be like, oh, that's so weird. Like, what? Building a relationship with yourself? But I love today's day and age, because I feel like there's more of an understanding around it. And it's more talked about, more commonly, openly talked about. So what does building a relationship with yourself actually mean? It means just getting to know your likes and dislikes. It means figuring out who you are. If you removed everything from your life, if you removed your job, if you removed your friends, if you removed your family, what would you enjoy? What would you love to do by yourself? And I always think of building a relationship with yourself like building a relationship with a new potential romantic partner. Like, what questions would you ask them? What dates would you go on? Where would you want to travel? Like, what would you do if you were getting to know someone new? And just do that with yourself. Get to know yourself, get to know your mind. And getting to know your mind is a really important aspect of building a relationship with yourself. And to do that, you can do things like journaling, which is something that I'm pretty sure I've said in every single one of my videos and podcast episodes. But journaling allows you to get to know your mind. Speaking with a coach or a mentor like myself, that helps you to get to know your mind, because we guide you in these sessions to answer the questions that are gonna get you digging deep, that are gonna get you questioning yourself, questioning like what you actually love, what you love about yourself, what you enjoy in life, and what brings you the most happiness. And that's why I love what I do. I love my coaching sessions, because at least once in every single client session that I have, they say, oh, I never thought about that. I've never thought about it that way before. I've never even considered that before. Like, it's insane. So I was talking the other day with a client about what confidence actually is. Like, what does confidence actually mean? And what do we want confidence to mean? What do we want our beliefs about confidence to be? Because I guarantee you in day-to-day life, you wouldn't really talk about that kind of thing. And that's why coaching and mentoring is so powerful and why I recommend it to literally anyone. Because you get to know yourself on a deeper level, on a level that you just never experienced before. I'm sorry if you can hear the construction outside. I don't know where it's coming from. I've been looking outside and I can't see anything, but I can just hear it. So I'm really hoping that it doesn't ruin the audio quality. I'm going to check now and then come back. I think we're good. Yeah, so specifically in my one-to-one coaching, I work with clients to uncover their unconscious or unhelpful beliefs about themselves and specifically their bodies, so that we build a relationship with ourselves based on self-love, compassion, and confidence, so that we can go out there and live a fulfilling and happy and vibrant and joyful existence. Because I truly believe that life is just too short to not do the things that we've always wanted to do, to not go into our wedding feeling the most confident version of ourselves, to pass down unhelpful beliefs and unhelpful narratives that we hold about our bodies onto our next generation, onto our kids, which is why I feel like body acceptance work is so important, which I'll talk about later in today's episode. A little bit of a spoiler alert there, but yeah. So if one-to-one coaching sounds like your vibe, it sounds like you want to get to know yourself better and create a more loving relationship with yourself so that you can finally just feel fulfilled, finally feel happy, then please apply. I'll leave the link in the show notes. And yeah, let's change your life together. I'm so excited for you if you decide that this is for you. So building a relationship with yourself based on self-trust and based on self-love is so important for fulfillment. And building a relationship based on self-trust, that can be tricky, especially if you're the kind of person that's a people pleaser or a perfectionist who, finds it difficult to show up for yourself rather than showing up for other people all the time. I know that this is a common theme along my clients, and I'm a self-proclaimed, I used to be a people pleaser, and I didn't want people to not like me, because it comes from a place of just wanting to be loved and wanting to be liked. And a lot of that can root back to childhood. And it's about rewiring that and reframing and bringing in more compassion for ourselves, and also realizing that not everyone is going to like you, and that is okay. But it's a process. And the best way to start building up self-trust, especially for people pleasers, is to start small. And this brings me on to point number 2, which is to make yourself a priority and to set up healthy boundaries. And that is a great way especially for people pleasers, to start building self-trust, to set up those boundaries within yourself so that you're not giving yourself away to people before they ask permission, in any way that applies. So imagine you're in a work environment and your boss keeps messaging you while you're on holiday or while you're literally just at home, it's out of office hours, and they're asking so much from you, and you're a people pleaser, so you don't want to upset, and you just go along with it. Or if it's a friend wanting you to go out for coffee or go out for drinks, and you would much prefer to just be at home in your pajamas. Maybe you've had a really, really busy week. Maybe you're not in the mindset or the place to go out to that social activity, but you say yes anyway because you don't want to upset them. You don't want to lose a friend. All of these thoughts come in, and it's totally normal if that's what you're used to. So, but the way to live a more happy, fulfilled existence is to make yourself a priority, to treat yourself like you would treat a friend, like you would treat a loved one or a family member, and to set up those healthy boundaries, to say no, to get comfortable with saying no, or just to be more inquisitive. This is what me and a client were talking about in the week. become more inquisitive about things rather than just immediately assuming or immediately giving yourself and your time away. Ask them, is there a reason why you're asking this right now? Or why do you ask? Yeah, like a question like that. Just be more inquisitive about it rather than giving yourself away straight away. And notice that when you do this, when you start being more inquisitive, when you start setting your boundaries, when you start asking yourself, actually, do I want to do this right now? Or am I going against my boundaries? Am I going against what would make me feel good? When you start doing that and putting yourself first, that's where the self-trust comes from. You're showing up for yourself. You're showing up for your highest self. You're showing up for your happiest version of you. And that in itself is so powerful and so useful when you want to live a more fulfilled and happy and joyful existence. So, yeah, how can you make yourself a priority today? How can you set up a healthy boundary within yourself or in the outer sphere, in the physical realm? Like, is there any boundary that you can set today that would help with your fulfillment level? And number 3, to living the most fulfilled and happy existence, I feel that this is the most important one. Accepting your body exactly as it is. I don't think I've ever met anyone that hasn't obsessed over their body at some point in their life or hasn't had a negative body thought. And if there are those out there that haven't, then good for you. Congratulations. But generally, we, especially as women, we put so much pressure and emphasis on our bodies because it's easier, because we're used to it. And that is because society and the media have always had this narrative around women's bodies, or there has begun this narrative, especially in the 19th and 20th centuries. I want to say probably 20th century over 19th century, but because there was a time when women's bodies were not a topic of conversation. Anybody was beautiful. Imagine all of the artwork that you see in museums. They're all shaped so differently and they're so beautiful and unique and wonderful. And as soon as women got more power, as soon as they got the vote, as soon as I don't know why I said they, I'm not a woman, but anyway. So as soon as we got the vote, as soon as we were getting more power in a man's world, we started placing emphasis on our bodies, trying to shrink them down to get rid of our curves so that we fit into the man's world. And from there, diet culture took hold, and there was always something, some trend, some body shape that was desired, and there was always some trick or hack or diet to get you there. And that is still so prevalent in today's society. So I truly believe that to live a fulfilled and happy existence, you have to change the narrative around your body. You have to say a big F you to society and to the standards that have been placed on us and that are continually evolving, which makes them even more exhausting. To truly feel fulfilled, you have to say F you. To go against the grain, which can feel so bizarre because we're used to it. And a lot of the time people say, well, I don't know what I'll do if I don't hate my body anymore. What will I do? Where will I place that hatred? And something to remember with body acceptance and bad body image thoughts is that it's never actually about your body. There's always something else at play here. And it's just about asking yourself, what else is at play here? Well, first, Start thinking about what you specifically say to yourself when you have a bad body image thought. What language are you using? And is this related to something else in your life and you're just kind of placing it onto your body? Because our bodies often become metaphors and placeholders for all of our bad thoughts and feelings in general in life. Because it's easier and it's what we're used to. And it's what society has kind of trained and taught us to do. And oftentimes our caregivers and our friends and our peers and our figures, our figures that we look up to, have fed us these narratives that we now need to break. And that's something else that I do within my one-to-one program. We figure out where all of this has come from, because there's often lots of different factors. We break it all down and we remold and we reshape our mindset to be able to handle those thoughts when they come in. Because unfortunately, it is a journey. It's not an overnight flick a switch and it's done. It's a constant journey. But I promise you that it becomes so much easier to deal with. And it gets to the point where it doesn't really faze you anymore. And like, the thoughts might come in every now and then, but they're not as frequent and they're not as loud and they're not as annoying because you've trained your brain to use the positive neural pathway to support yourself rather than to tear yourself down. So, yeah, if you want to accept your body and finally feel peace within yourself and to figure out where those thoughts have come from, what else is at play in your life right now, then please, I urge you to check out my one-to-one coaching. Or I've got something launching really, really soon that is great for this kind of thing as well, and where you will be surrounded by like-minded women on the same journey as you. And yeah, it's just going to be a great supportive environment. But that is the end of today's episode. I just want to round up and re-go over everything that I've said. So to live the fullest, truest, fulfilled version of your life, and to really meet that true version of you that you so deserve to meet, you can build a relationship with yourself based on self-trust and self-love. Make yourself a priority and set up those healthy boundaries within yourself and in your external surroundings. And number 3, accept your body. Learn to accept it for all that it is, all that it does for you. And realize that your bad body thoughts are never about your body. So start questioning them, start asking where they come from, and start saying a big F you to all of the narratives that we've been fed thus far. So yes, that is the end of today's episode. I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope you've taken something from this episode and are able to implement it to live a more fulfilled and happy existence. And yeah, come and hang over on Instagram. Come and chat to me. Tell me what you found useful in today's episode and what you're implementing. I look forward to talking to you. It's my favorite thing to do every day. So yes, I will speak to you soon and see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.